Coming up. Suddenly, Set dropped the lid of the coffin. Welcome back, subscribers. If you are new to our channel, welcome to you too. And now, My Home Classes for Homeschoolers by Homeschoolers presents Ancient History, Part 7, Old Kingdom Egypt.
Egypt was perhaps the greatest of the early civilizations that developed in the Fertile Crescent after the flood. It was settled by Ham's son Mizraim and his descendants. The Nile River provided plenty of water for people to drink and for farming, so it was a good place to settle down. Every year between May and October, the Nile flooded and watered all of the crops. People built dikes to hold on to the water from the floods so that they would have water to drink all year round. Large cities developed along the Nile, and 2 kingdoms were established, one in Upper Egypt and one in Lower Egypt. This may look upside down, since we think of north as up and south as down or lower, but these kingdoms were named based on the flow of the Nile River. The Nile flowed down the mountains in the south towards the Nile Delta in the north. The king of Upper Egypt wore a white crown, and the king of Lower Egypt wore a red crown, until a powerful king named Menes, also called King Narmer, united the 2 kingdoms. It is not clear which kingdom Narmer was from, but the Narmer palette clearly depicts him killing the former king. Afterwards, King Narmer wore a double crown, symbolizing the uniting of Upper and Lower Egypt into one kingdom.
King Narmer established the city of Memphis, and he is also said to have established the city of Crocodilopolis. He had been attacked by his own dogs while out hunting, and he escaped by riding on the back of a crocodile. He rode the crocodile across a lake, and when he got to the other side, he created a city there. He was so thankful for the crocodile, he decided to name the city after him. He reigned for 62 years. And then sadly he was killed by a big hippopotamus.
King Narmer, or Menes, had been Egypt's first pharaoh. He had conquered the chaos in the world by uniting Upper and Lower Egypt. The word pharaoh meant great house. He was crucial for order and stability in the world. He was believed to be the son of Ra, the sun god, and he was going to return to the sun after he died. They also believed that the sun was important for the flooding of the Nile, so they tried to keep Pharaoh happy so that he would ensure that the Nile would always flood every year and water their crops. To ensure that the pharaohs were happy in death, the Egyptians built them elaborate tombs and buried them with vast wealth, as well as food and clothing, games, weapons, and many other things. They even went so far as to build pyramids to bury them in. We built our own pyramids, and we'll show you how you can too at the end of this video.
Pharaoh Zoser commanded Imhotep, his chief minister and priest of the sun god Ra, to build him a great tomb, and Imhotep constructed the first pyramid. It is known as the Step Pyramid. It was modeled after the ziggurat in Mesopotamia. Soon, much larger pyramids were constructed. Pharaoh Khufu had the Great Pyramid built in Giza. About 100,000 people worked on Khufu's pyramid for over 20 years. Egyptian farmers did the work on the Great Pyramid during the seasons when they were not farming, and they were paid for their work. It was a major project. It included over 10 million blocks, each of which weighed 2.5 tons. At its base, it was 755 feet wide, and it reached 481 feet into the sky. Pharaoh Khafre, Khufu's son, built another impressive structure called the Sphinx, right next to the Great Pyramid of Khufu. The Sphinx was a mythical creature with the head of a man and the body of a lion. The Great Sphinx had Pharaoh Khafre's head, and it represented the great power and majesty of the pharaohs.
Egypt had a lot of mythology, and it is fun to read. We know what their myths are because they had a system of writing that is known as hieroglyphics. Like cuneiform, they used pictures to represent words. For over 1,000 years, though, no one remembered how to read hieroglyphics until Napoleon conquered Egypt and his men found an ancient tablet that became known as the Rosetta Stone. It provided enough clues about the Egyptian language for scholars to finally understand it.
One of the most famous stories is about the death of the god Osiris. He ruled over Egypt and everyone prospered. But Osiris's brother Set was jealous. One night he snuck into Osiris's bedroom and he measured him. Then he hosted a party. He brought out a big golden coffin, and he told the gods that whoever could fit into the coffin best would get to keep it. All the gods tried, but only Osiris was able to fit in the coffin perfectly. Suddenly, Set dropped the lid of the coffin, locking Osiris in, and he threw the coffin into the Nile River. Isis, Osiris's wife, went and found him, but he was dead. Isis realized that she would need help to perform funeral rites for Osiris, so she hid his body and went to get help. Set did not want Isis to perform funeral rites for Osiris. He wanted Osiris's spirit to be trapped, so he found Osiris's body using his very sensitive nose. He had turned into a beast that was part donkey, part human, and part aardvark. When he found Osiris's body, he cut it into many pieces and scattered them all over Egypt. Isis quickly realized what Set had done, so she turned into a sharp-eyed bird and gathered all the pieces except for the one the crocodile god ate. She sewed the body back together, making the missing part out of clay. Then Isis and the other gods wrapped linen strips around Osiris's body, and then they put oils on him to make him smell good. He was the first mummy. All of the pharaohs after Osiris also received mummification. The Egyptians believed that mummification and the treasures that were buried with them allowed them to have a similar life in the underworld. After Osiris was mummified, he was said to have come back to life and became king of the underworld.
After about 500 years, Egypt's old kingdom fell apart. The pyramids were impressive, but it took a great deal of work and sacrifice to build them, and most Egyptians didn't benefit from them. Local nobles took over the government in the cities, and the pharaohs no longer had any power. The kingdom fell into disarray. In our next video, we will talk about the next Egyptian kingdom that emerged, which is known as the Middle Kingdom.
Today, I am going to teach you how to make sugar cube pyramids. The first thing you need is a box of sugar cubes. We will tell you how many sugar cubes in the description. Or you can figure out how many you need as a math lesson, like my mom had me do. The next thing you need is a bottle of glue. The third thing you need is something to build it on. A paper plate or like a piece of cardboard. Optionally, you can use a parrot and a knife to cut a sugar cube in half to make a pointy top. You can also glue some sand onto your paper plate or your cardboard to make it look like a desert. You do not have to paint them because pyramids were white like the sugar cubes. Start with 7 rows of 7 sugar cubes. Spread the glue for 1 row at a time. I used a piece of cardboard to spread the glue because I did not want to get my hands sticky. Make sure the sugar cubes are very close together. The next layer should be 6 rows of 6 sugar cubes. Start this layer half a sugar cube in from the edge of the bottom layer. Remember to keep gluing and to keep the sugar cubes close. Next, do a layer of 5 by 5, and then 4 by 4, and then 3 by 3, and then 2 by 2. And finally, 1 goes on top. You can add a sugar cube cut in half if you want it to be pointed. There's so many things to learn about ancient Egypt. What's your favorite part? Leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and subscribe for